discuss the presentation and debugging of controversial topics and beliefs. Some or all of the topics discussed may be emotionally triggering or otherwise upsetting. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another exciting round of World of Woocraft. I am Lord Falconis, and we are right back where we started at the Conscious Life Expo. For those of you who weren't here last week, I had the fortune and misfortune of having to go to a expo full of woo. Why? Because I needed content, and oh boy, did I get content. So, to give you an update, the meat and potatoes of our story today is that we went to here and we went and observed this Starseed panel. What is a Starseed, you might say? A Starseed is someone who is a human but believes that they are the soul of an alien. It gets weird. You could be an Arcturian, it could be a Pleiadian, you could be a Syrian, you could be a reptilian, you can be a whatever the fuckian, apparently. And yes, Blue Phoenix, you are a mod. I started streaming on YouTube last week. I want to start doing this so I can build up my video content. And this is probably the fastest way to do it because I'm probably going to start focusing more on gaming when it comes to Twitch. So that's what we're doing here today. So yes. So when we last begun our adventure, we got to about here, they said gathered together around the oceans. We were talking about pollution, and they were being really, really weird. So things are going to get even weirder as we continue on. Let me give you a reminder of the cast of characters. We've got Lana Ray, the Pleiadian princess, Jamie Voss Love, a Starseed. We've got Sarah Adams, who likes to go running around Stonehenge when she's not supposed to. Alan Silbenstein, a UFO conspiracist. Blue, a new ager from London, who changed her name, as she's going to reveal it later on in this series. Don't know if we'll cover it in this particular video, but it will be in the description. Who else was there? Cher Jolene, who Alan completely messes up the names of, and of course our favorite here in World of Woocraft, Anita Cyrene, formerly known as Stargirl. Yes, I streamed on YouTube last week. I'm not sure. I think you were having all sorts of issues and stuff, but yeah, I streamed on YouTube last week. So for World of Woocraft, I decided I want to start streaming on YouTube because I have about 100 more subscribers on YouTube than I do on Twitch, and this is mostly where I want to focus my skeptic stuff. And I think Twitch is going to probably be where I focus more on gaming, so that's why we're doing that. But yeah, you're a mod on my Twitch, so I figured I may as well add you on YouTube. Anyway, so unfortunately, As I said last week, I was not able to get a full video recording. I did get snippets. However, I did manage to get an audio recording of the entire panel. And not only did I get an audio panel, but I also used an app to give me a almost entirely accurate version of an almost entirely accurate transcript of what happened. There are going to be some errors. There are going to be some glitches in it because it was recorded by an AI. It's not perfect, but it's a heck of a lot better than what I could do because I'm a paralegal and not a frickin' court reporter. I've been gaming, taking a long break. Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you back. We're glad to have you back, Blue Phoenix. All right. We started this at about 22 minutes and 21 seconds. I think the recording is a little bit below the area that I've highlighted, so let's go ahead and even that out right now.
We can start to pollute, we can start to transmute that pollution by channeling in these beautiful images.
Right here.
And when you send beautiful images to another person, if they're sad or depressed, that's going to completely shift them.
All right, now we are up to speed. So they're talking about how they as Starseeds can help change the world, fix reality, change people's underwear. They're running the usual gamut here. And of course, most of it is either a pipe dream, idealism, or pure quantum insanity. Just wait until we get into discussions about Starseed technology. Yes, that's a thing.
Thoughts are things. Thoughts are energy. You know, how do those ships up there tune into an individual person? They read your frequency. They're reading your thoughts, that signature. So, yes, we have the power. We've been kind of brainwashed to think we don't have any power, that we're not.
There we go.
We can't affect reality. But what you're saying is we.
So what they're essentially trying to say is that is the whole typical law of attraction bullshit, which is that our thoughts shape our minds and our thoughts create our realities and things like that. You can't hear it? Oh god, not this bullshit again. I had this glitch happen already once. If this thing flew on me again? No. Hold on one second. I had this glitch happen already once. If this thing flew on me, actually trying to essentially. Okay, it is coming through. It's just not. It's just very, very low. Let me see if I can jack up the volume a little bit, and then I'll play. It. All right. Because on Tuesday I had a glitch where my microphone wasn't playing on the correct audio track when I was playing Fortnite in the morning, and one of my audience was letting me know, and I could not fix it, and I had to kill stream. So, but fortunately, it sounds like I've taken care of that. All right, so I'm going to start the thing back up again. I jacked up the volume on it, so hopefully you should be able to hear it now.
Are totally capable of accessing this bigger part of our brain and affecting realities around us. So, thank you. That just brought that up for me and inspired me. So Jamie, talk about this ascension wave that's happening as a star seed, as we're moving, like everything everyone said here is building towards sort of your work, which is ascending the bodies, a consciousness. Can you talk about that?
Sure.
Yeah, that's about it. That's as big as I can make it. That's as loud as I can make it, unfortunately. I was sitting in a pretty large auditorium. I tried to get front row, but I couldn't get that. I think I got like second row or third row or something like that, but this is as good as it's going to get because I didn't want to carry a lot of professional microphone equipment because I didn't want to stand out. There were people at CLE that had like cameras and things like that. So if I go again next year, I might bring some more professional level equipment than what I had. But unfortunately, this is what I got to make do with. You might want to put on the header to use headphones. Oh well. Too late for that, unfortunately. All right. I've got this thing on max. Hang on, I got another idea. I just realized I might be able to max it out on here too. Oh no, it's maxed here on the player as well. I could try to throw it into Audacity to amplify it, but that would take, given that this is an hour and 55 minutes long of an audio recording, that could take forever. So, I think we're pretty much screwed. All right, let's get back into it then.
I think that we all have been moving through that since a young age. Some of us were born into families that, when we asked who all here felt weird their whole life. And so we had densities,
Oops.
We had traumas, could be traumatides, I guess.
Yeah, hang on, I've lost where I was supposed to be. Okay, we could be, and then, let's see here. All right, there we go.
We go through that whole process, and I remember for me, I would wake up and, in the middle of the sleep as a child and be talking to my star home.
So what they mean by star home is this. Starseeds believe that they are an alien soul that has been incarnated into a human body for one reason or another. The one that we're all most familiar with, who has said that she was a soul fork from Arcturus, is none other than public enemy number one here at World of Warcraft, Teal Swan. So yes, Teal is a starseed. Starseed can't roll that off the tongue apparently. But she's been trying to hide that in recent years. She's trying to distance herself from some of the more unusual New Age beliefs, and she's still keeping onto her law of attraction bullshit because that's the bread and butter of her crap, but she's trying to distance herself from some of her more weirder approaches to things. Anyway, so your star home is when you communicate with the planet that you're supposedly from, so the aliens that you're a part of. So that's what Jamie Voss Love is talking about right now.
Lineage and trying to like get this information downloaded as a kid, but parents not understanding it back at that time and just like brushing it off. And then I would actually try to sleepwalk and go outside and look up at the sky.
That's kind of dangerous.
Like, I need some information here, I need some help. To the point where my dad had to install a lock that was taller than I could reach, so I would stop doing that.
See, so a couple things here. This could be a fabricated memory because honestly, I wouldn't put it above a lot of these people to pull that kind of shit. It's kind of like in Christianity, how you have people that claim that they were demonically possessed or how they were dealing with demons and things like that. I kind of feel like that's kind of what's going on here. Or this person may have some sort of legitimate mental illness or problem that keeps them from not sleepwalking at night and forcing themselves to do these weird things, in which case they need serious mental health and not to be at fucking Conscious Life Expo talking to other people that probably need mental counseling.
So over time, what I realized...
Technically, we are all starseeds, but everyone is. We are born from stars. Our bodies are made from elementals from stars. Yes, that's all correct, Blue Phoenix, but what they mean by starseeds is they are alien souls reincarnated into human bodies. So that's a little different from the whole we're all made of stardust thing. This is like a whole different level of insanity.
And working with Andromedans back then.
That's who Jamie Voss Love likes to affiliate with, the Andromedans. And I said this last week, and I'm going to re-explain it next week for anybody who missed last week. Andromeda is a galaxy. It's not a planet. I mean, granted, there's already some confusion going on because the Pleiadians refers to the Pleiades, which is a series of stars that are near each other, but otherwise have no real relation to each other that we are aware of. They're just close enough that they form a constellation in our night sky. The Pleiades is a human creation, and yet somehow these aliens are become Pleiadians? It literally makes no sense here. And it makes even less sense when you talk about connecting to the Andromedans, because Andromeda is an entire galaxy. An entire galaxy. Let's say that the Andromeda galaxy has like billions of different sentient beings on there. Are you essentially saying that the collective entirety of the Andromeda galaxy can all just be boiled down to Andromedans? That makes literally no sense.
They kind of told me, first of all, you kind of set this up for yourself, right? You design this, and so the irony of it is you still have to go through this, and I didn't want to. So I came from physical abuse, emotional abuse.
There's a lot of people in this community that have come from emotional and physical abuse. And it kind of makes me wonder, if this was something that they invented in order to cope with that abuse. And then later when they came across people that thought similarly and had similar escapes, that they all pandered together, and now we have this clusterfuck of a Starseed panel. It's kind of a sad story, really. A lot of New Agers came from pretty sad tales, and then they fall for people like Jamie Voss Love and Teal Swan. It's kind of depressing.
Yeah, sexual abuse, so all of those things. So I shut down that part of me for a long time, and I think that we're seeing a lot of people that have understood that, went through the dark night of the soul, did the work.
And remember one other thing. The women on this panel, for the most part, they're probably not doing this to be nice. They're doing this because they want money. I got this from Jamie Voslov herself pretty much. Because I followed her on Instagram on my main account, and we start talking for a little while, but eventually she's slowly trying to get information from me, like what are my beliefs, what are my problems, things like that. And then about a week ago, she drops the whole I can help you, and I work on a sliding scale too. And at that point, it's just like, yeah, screw you. You're no better than Teal Swan. You just lack her cult. But that's just it. Everyone here that's talking in this, I'm pretty damn certain they're just in it for the money. Basically, just like Kenneth Copeland or Joel Osteen.
Have opened up the channels, are connecting with their star lineages, and going to that next level of ascension. So that's where the body comes in. So what I found was we really have to anchor into our physical body, which can be a challenge going through this process because we do want to be in other worlds or...
No, mostly we just want to make this world to be a better place. We don't want to escape to other worlds, and even if we did, I'm pretty certain there's no way that we could be beaten there by air. It'd probably be either NASA or Darth Teslax that gets us there first. Let's have Darth Teslax talk to the Starseeds. That would be interesting.
We're always connected, or feel like we're disconnected, or we're not connecting with our guides, or are we doing something wrong?
All right, so this is something that I'm guessing a lot of people from Christian backgrounds aren't gonna understand. I think Blue Phoenix, I figure you probably understand this, so this is just gonna be old. This is gonna be old hat to you. But when they talked about guides, they're talking about spirit guides, because this is something I actually used to believe, that you connect with these spirit guides and you try to ask them questions. It's basically the New Age equivalent of praying and talking to God. That's what spirit guides are. And the spirit guides are supposed to advise you in various ways. You can do things like bibliomancy. I used to do auto writing when I was a New Ager. That was a big thing. I would open myself up to the spirits, and then I would type on to Notepad, and I would get answers, and I felt like I was getting actual answers, and now I just realize it's just my personal narrative just messing with me. And yeah, it's basically the New Age equivalent of praying to God.
So just allowing that information to come to you. The fourth eye that I was speaking of earlier is one, to remove implant technology that was put there that really has shame within our DNA. And if that...
Okay, no. Shame is not something that can be encoded into DNA. Shame is a feeling. Shame is a metaphysical concept. You can have genes that could cause depression, which could make you feel shame more, but shame itself is not something that you can embed into DNA. You can't just embed things like anger, sadness, happiness, having the hiccups in my case, or anything like that. DNA is more complex than that, but one of the things that they like to talk about here, and we might have to discuss at some point, is what they call DNA activation. What DNA activation is, I've got no frickin' clue, but being that I seem to be the New Age authority now in the atheist community, it's my job to figure it out. Let me drink this so I can get rid of my hiccups. I manifested a burp for everybody. There you go. I sent out the burp into the universe. Let the spirit guides be aware of the fact that I have indigestion. Namaste.
Was not there, it could eradicate fear. It could eradicate all of these other things and help us ascend a little bit faster.
The ultimate goal of the New Age religion is ascension. What is ascension, you might say? Well, it's essentially transcending the physical human forms or something like that into entering into a new plane of existence. a new dimension, so to speak. Sarah Adams is going to come up later on and try to connect everybody in the room to 22D, as in the 22nd dimension. The whole thing is just pure frickin' nonsense. And it's funny because Telltale had brought up this whole Dark Lord guy that was pretending to be a Satanist or a Satanist plant on a talk show from the 80s. And I'm just thinking to myself, you didn't need to do that, because New Age religions are are really crazy without you having to come up with fake frickin' bullshit. Anyway, that is a tangent that will be for another time, though. Let's continue on, shall we?
So, with this fourth eye technology going from the pituitary
So I think that's a glitch. That's supposed to be four eye technology.
to the pineal, opening that up.
The pituitary and the pineal glands are part of your brain, and they don't work at all in the way that she's going to talk about.
And moving through the body to elevate the energies and the consciousness, but really ultimately what it's trying to do is transcend above polarities, and it really is a gateway to the fourth dimension. That's where it gets really trippy. I'm sure.
Okay, so I know that sounds like a whole bunch of quantum flapdoodle to everybody, but let me try to explain it. What she's essentially saying is that this supposed Starseed technology is designed to get your body to elevate up to what's known as the fourth dimension. Of course, in reality, the fourth dimension refers to time. It's not even a physical place that you can go to. A lot of people confuse dimensions and universes as if they are completely different, as if they are one and the same, and that is not the case. A dimension is simply a way to view reality. You can view things in one dimension, which is just going this and this. You can do it in two dimensions, which is doing this and this and this and this. Or you can do it in three dimensions, which is this and this and this, and then this going from down and up. And then you can do it from the fourth dimension, which is essentially viewing it through time. I think that's my laws of physics anyway, but this is not what she's talking about here, because she has no idea what she's talking about. None of them do.
Looked in and out of time, had deja vu, those sort of things. But with that, I found that we can heal ourselves. And I'll just give a very quick example of this and what I'm seeing now. So when I was 7, I had an ankle injury that did not exist.
Whoa. What? An ankle?
For like 2 or 3.
So you had an ankle injury that did not exist. That sounds really weird. Like, why would you have an ankle injury that doesn't exist? Unless the answer is that it was something to do with psychosomaticness or psychosomasis.
3 days. My mom thought I was weird. My parents thought I was weird, and let that go. And then fast forward to 5 years ago, I was training with my partner. I'm a brown belt ninja, and he's like 6'4", and he went to do a move and he landed on my ankle and
ouch,
crushed it. So this blew up like this big, and luckily it was my left foot, so I could still drive home. I took a picture of it and I sent
oh god, no.
it to my sister, and I'm like, what do you think? Should I go get this checked out? Should I go to the hospital?
Yes. As I'm sure student Dr. Ben would say if he was here, any injury of that kind of thing that swells up or anything like that should probably be taken to an ER. Because she could have very well broken her feet. But I know we're dealing with charlatans that try to be all against doctors here. So, but let's see what happens.
What's up? She's like, yeah, it looks broken or sprained. And then all of a sudden, the Palladians came in.
The Pleiadians now. What did they have to say about this? Because apparently Pleiadians are all experts in human anatomy.
And they said, don't you remember? You already healed yourself when you were 7.
You already healed. I know it says that. That's obviously not what it said. You already healed yourself when you were 7. No. It doesn't work that way. If you have an injury to your foot when you're 7, and then years later you get the exact same injury to the exact same section of your feet, those are two completely different injuries. Like, what reasoning are you using here? That just sounds absolutely ridiculous. Like, it would be like, are you implying that you already had that is actually what she's implying. She's implying that she had the injury when she was 7 and healed from it. But this is completely different. She should be lucky that didn't get infected or further damaged.
And I saw that memory of age 7, and literally before my eyes, that entire thing that was like a tennis ball size.
That's exactly what she's thinking. She's claiming that she already healed from the injury that she suffered when she was, or supposedly didn't suffer, when she was 7. I can't help but wonder if she's making this shit up, you know? The whole thing just sounds absolutely weird to me.
Just in seconds went down to just a tiny little purple mark that I still have on my foot, and I wouldn't believe it if I didn't have the timestamps that I texted to my sisters.
So what you're saying is you got lucky. That's what you're saying.
So we're seeing all sorts of technology like that as we expand that fourth eye. And when you think about it, we hear oftentimes the eyes of Horus, not just the eye of Horus, so third, fourth. And so that's a part of that technology that's helping to...
What technology? You haven't mentioned a single bit of technology. All you've done is talk about this supposed ankle injury when that injury didn't even happen. And then when you were doing black belt ninjutsu, and you smashed your feet, these Pleiadians came down and told you were somehow totally healed. You haven't mentioned any form of technology whatsoever. Like, where are you getting at here?
Remove those implants.
How do people clap at this? This is ridiculous.
That is multi-dimensional work right there, moving beyond time and space. So, yeah, if you have that inspiration to type your ankle or something, or whatever it is, whatever vision, trust it, because...
This is Alan Silbenstein talking. He's a big UFO conspiracist. He might end up on my rogues gallery at some point.
That is your future self. So that's where we're coming into this multi-dimensional awareness. So, Lyra, how did you wake up to all this stuff?
Lyra Ray is an interesting character. So she identifies herself on YouTube as the Pleiadian Princess. And up until recently, she got herself all dolled up in all sorts of makeup, and she had a fake white wig on that she's apparently only recently taken off. She's also she also has this like virtual reality version of a Pleiadian Starseed or something like that. She had a booth at Conscious Life Expo, but I was stupid and didn't bother to try it out. But she's trying that. I don't know exactly what is involved in that. But that's the kind of person that she is. So let's see what she has to say about this nonsense.
What a fantastic question. I was hoping you'd ask me that.
Joy.
So back in 2016, I had a really crazy, amazing experience where a UFO actually landed next to me and my friend.
A UFO landed next to you and your friend driving late at night. Did you happen to get a picture of it? Not that I'd really believe it all that much, but I mean, if I'm seeing a UFO land next to me, I'm getting some freaking pictures, yo.
We were driving late at night, and
driving late at night. You know, there could be, I mean, I have to say, maybe it isn't necessarily that they're just trying to pull people's legs here. Because if you're driving late at night, you can be victim to what's known as road hypnosis. You can start hallucinating. You can start seeing some weird-ass shit. Which is why, when you have to make a long-ass trip, you should probably stop at some point and take a nap for a little bit. Because once that fatigue sets in, you're going to put yourself in a really dangerous situation.
I never believed in aliens or anything before that. That completely turned my entire world upside down.
This has St. Paul vibes written all over it. Okay, hear me out. She didn't see a UFO. She is full of bullshit or did the wrong drugs. Either one of those could be a valid option, baby.
And made me question everything about this reality. And me and my friend, it took me a few weeks to process that. That was really crazy. And about 3 weeks later, me and my friend would go back to that same spot, and we kept going back. And every time we would go back, something else happened. And we later realized that there was a Stargate there.
A Stargate, you say? You know, the thing from the mid '90s movies, the thing that lets you tell, that basically acts as an intergalactic phone number that lets you dial into other solar systems, that kind of thing. Because I'm pretty certain that's only in a movie. But again, pictures, proof, outside research from other scientists. I'm sure NASA would love to see something like this. It would totally advance our time abilities. So where's the proof of all of this? Mysteriously, I'm guessing there is none.
And so we ended up meeting with these beings in person that were on that ship that landed next to us, and had these crazy, amazing, beautiful experiences.
That I either made up or was the product of some sort of hallucination.
And I got to know the Zeta Greys really well.
The Zeta Graves are apparently another Starseed alien race. I don't know too much about them, but I imagine they're probably the same thing as the Arcturians and the Pleiadians. They are totally enlightened group of aliens that just totally want to help humanity. Yes, because everybody in the galaxy has noble intentions out there.
And they're just such a fucking fantastic group.
Fucking fantastic group. That's just a great way to describe aliens, right? Not with their technology, not with their culture, none of that stuff. They're just fucking great people, you know? That's just a great way to describe it.
They're hilarious, man. Like, they got such a great sense of humor. They're fucking funny. Like, you know what? People, well, they're actually the tall white ones. But you know what? People don't know that about the Greys, or even think about them.
Okay, so the Greys are a classic stereotypical alien, you know, the type that have like a cone on them, that have are kind of cone-headish, and they have the really wide eyes. They're the aliens that you saw in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Those are Greys. That's what a Grey looks like. And the Greys are kind of like good and bad depending on who you ask in the New Age community, but they're just another one of the aliens in what I like to call the New Age pantheon.
That when you think about ETs, but yeah, they have a personality, and these dudes are just like so funny. They're pranksters, they're jokesters, and
which is probably why they abduct cows, right?
Yeah.
Taking too much genetic information from humans, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, at least the ones that I got to know, I would do the same thing if I was an alien and like playing jokes on like a human who didn't know anything about anything. Like, yeah.
Well, now I learned something about Lana Ray. She's apparently a sociopath.
I would like try and pull some shit like that, like land this. Let's see how close we can get before they freak out, you know?
And a griefer and a troll. So, thanks, Lana Ray. You've said so much about your character in that one fucking sentence.
So, but anyways, yeah. So that's my story. I just started having these crazy experiences, and that kind of led me on my whole healing journey, and just, I wanted to learn everything that I could about all of that stuff, and I still kept my connection to those beings, which I still have today, and because of all those
are you sure they're not fucking with you, Lana?
Experiences that I had, that's what inspired my my new project called Pleiades World VR. So I'm creating.
Let's see if we can't find that really quickly. Let me grab that real quickly and put that on Firefox. Let's see here. Get this on its own separate. Let's see. Ladies World VR, Lana Ray. Nope, that's not it. Where is it? Shit, I can't find it. I don't know. I've been having difficulty trying to track these people down, and I know I have her name somewhere. I put it somewhere. Let me see here. Where did I stuff the CLE stuff? I have it somewhere. Oh, don't do that to me. Let's see. Oh, it's Lyra Ray. Okay. Lyra, not Laura. Where'd I get Lyra from? Alright, I got it now. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. The Princess of Pleiades, everybody. We're going to stop real quickly. I'm going to show you. I know, I'm pretty certain I've shown her website already, but I'm going to show it again just for the hell of it. This is the person that is This is the person that is speaking right now. Let me get rid of the notepad. Where's the notepad? There you are. This is her. This is Lyra Ray. Starseed mentor, multidimensional expert, and ET expert. Why hasn't NASA talked to this person? I'm sure she would have all sorts of interesting things to tell NASA. Unless, of course, she's bullshitting. So, let's see here. So this is her thing that she's doing called Pleiades World. It's the VR technology into a communal social media space that will take place in a visually stimulating, otherworldly setting. Let me zoom this in so y'all can see. There we go. It's a metaverse world for the spiritual and ufology community, because Facebook is totally not going to be pulling that crap out of its butt for its own separate groups once it gets done with its metaverse crap, which honestly I don't think it ever will, because we've already had a metaverse. It's called Second Life. Second Life is incredibly frickin' niche. I've played Second Life before. It's interesting, but you've got to really dedicate yourself to Second Life before you can get any sort of thing out of it. Otherwise, it's just, yeah, it's ridiculous in there. It's basically capitalism reincarnate. So what does it say here? Imagine that TikTok and Instagram are things of the past. This is the new wave of social media. Okay, you log into Pleiades World through your computer or VR headset. You create your own home within the space. This is literally Second fucking Life. Hell, this is arguably EverQuest. Your own spaceship, your own alien avatar. You meet with your friends, host your events in your ship or out in the land, and attend events all within the space. This is literally Second Life. What's the difference between this and Second Life, except this is more for a niche than Second Life is, although Second Life itself was a fucking niche. It's ridiculous. Pleiades World plans to implement crypto and NFT integration as well, because of course they are. This will be a fantastical, fun place for our community to enjoy. It will also be extremely user-friendly to those who have never used this technology before. Oh, I'm sure. Pleiades World is inspired by the true events from Lyra Ray's Alien Experiences series. Yes, she's done a series on YouTube, and we've got it. And we're going to definitely be talking about it at some point. Once I'm done with the Starseed panel, she'll probably be first on the list. You can find the video series on the Princess of Pleiades website under videos or the Princess of Pleiades YouTube page. Yeah, go check her out. She's crazy. In late 2016, Lyra's world was turned upside down when she had her first UFO encounter where a spacecraft landed within feet of her. I guess that's literally what she was just talking about in the Starseed panel. And her friend late at night in the woods. This led her on a journey of questioning our reality and self-discovery. She later had many more in-person encounters with spacecraft and ETs every time she would return to that spot in the woods. They had stumbled upon a Stargate. Wow, she literally cited her own fucking story word for word in the Starseed panel. So, does that mean we're going to have to meet, we're going to virtually meet the aliens that Lyra Ray supposedly met up with? Because otherwise that just sounds incredibly bizarre. Alright, let's get you back up. That's odd. You shouldn't be showing me that. You should be showing me this. And again, we have to fix things. There we go. Alright, so Her Pleiades World VR, that's what this is. There was a glitch here. That's why it says Pleiades. Ladies World and a Pleiades World. Because the auto recognition system doesn't understand what Pleiadians are. So in 2016 she did peyote. Well, she may or may not have had a enhancement, but I definitely wouldn't put it ahead of her. So yeah, she is lied so hard she believes this shit. You know, that might not be too far away from what's going on. I imagine Greg Locke probably has fallen for his own delusions when it comes to the QAnon stuff. Possibly even, well, I don't know. I feel like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert were just sucked in from the get-go, and they're not trying to deceive it, and they're not deliberately trying to deceive anybody. Who's to say, though? People are so convincing out in the world.
A lot of the things that I saw in virtual reality, so everybody else can see it too.
So now, instead of you just indulging in your own personal delusions, we all get to involve in your personal delusions. Sounds great, Lyra.
Great. Where was that spot that you saw these ETs?
So that was in Florida.
Florida. You know, suddenly that makes a lot more sense to me for some reason. That whole experience happened in Florida. Who the fuck knows what's out there and what kind of crap you could walk into to get some sort of weird ass hallucination in Florida? Florida really is a different world. It sounds to me like the only people that she was contacting that night were other Floridians, because Floridians can get crazy.
Actually, it's St. Cloud, so I was kind of out there in the middle of nowhere in the woods. I was driving my friend back home at like 2:30 in the morning after we went to this event, and he lives like way out there in the woods. There was nobody out there at that time, and
I'm sure it's completely true, as Carrie Poppy would say, paraphrasing.
it's a long story. If you guys want to watch, want to learn more about it, I have a whole YouTube series that explains everything. It's Princess of Pleiades, but it's like an 18 video series.
18 video series, you say? Well, I got plenty of time for that, love.
That goes through like every single thing that happened during that time, and yeah.
Are you Lyran or Pleiadian? I'm confused.
Oh, like all the things.
All those things. Okay.
Yeah.
I like all the things.
Great to have you here in the human body, so thank you. No, thanks for sharing. We'll come back. So, here we are. I'm learning stuff here. You know, this is like the next level for me.
So the next one up is Blue. She's going to talk about her Starseed interpretations. Blue is, I think, from the UK, judging from her accent. She used to have a different name, but now she's just Blue.
So, Miss Blue, if we want to start to act, I mean, I think we're all Starseeds here in some way, or else we wouldn't be in this room, right?
See, now, this is how I know that their whole personal sense or their vision or their psychicness doesn't work. Because apparently Alan just made the claim that everyone in the room was a Starseed. I obviously do not identify as a Starseed. They should have noticed me right out of the fucking gate. They should have known right away, if they had any form of psychic vision, that I was likely going to be an enemy to them. I am like the anti-Starseed that isn't a reptilian. And they should have immediately caught me. All 7 of them, and maybe Alan too. Maybe some people in the audience. But nobody did. Nobody said anything. Which really says a lot about their supposed connections to the spirit world, if you get my drift.
You don't know, but maybe. But how would... What's your perception about it? Yeah, please. The unpopular one, yeah.
I just feel like if you are human, you are like extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional.
So if we are human, we are extraterrestrial. That doesn't make sense. if we're a human, we're apparently also an alien? Like, where do you get off saying that? Following your reasoning, there are no such things as humans. We're all apparently aliens from another planet playing some sort of meta-universal equivalent of Warcraft. That's what's going on here, according to Blue. But we'll continue.
You are everything. It is the great.
I am everything. It's kind of like that whole joke about the Dalai Lama going up to a hot dog stand and asking the guy to make him one with everything, if you get my drift.
Greatest miracle ever to have a physical body. And
I mean, she's not wrong. Apparently some people crunched the odds once, and there was a 40 trillion to 1 chance of you being born. But apparently, according to people like Blue and Lyra Ray and the like, is you were a soul that chose to be incarnated into a physical body on this shithole that we call Earth. Why? Who the fuck knows? There are some people out there that say that you signed a soul contract to experience certain things, Teal being one of those people who believe that, and say that you're here to learn certain lessons or have certain experiences that you choose. Why? Who the fuck knows? Maybe my higher self is a masochist. Maybe this is all just the human. This is all just some meta-universal equivalent of Fortnite, and we're all just suffering out here just so we can go back because this game is somehow enjoyable for some reason.
I think that we have to be careful also with the labels around creating some sort of unconscious hierarchy experience that someone is Starseed and someone isn't. I believe that we all.
But that's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make it seem like that you're connected to these starseeds and that eventually some people are more connected to others. I can totally see this happening. That's what we're going at here. And of course, the people that you're going to say are more enlightened than others are the people that have been paying you more and working with you more. I can totally see where this is going. Is this a slippery slope? Yes, but you can see this in pretty much every other scam and every other cult that's ever been.
All have miraculous capabilities in our DNA. Are we curious enough to discover it?
I mean, she's not wrong. We're discovering things about our DNA all the time, but I'm willing to bet that any form of actual discovery that's going to benefit humanity is not going to come from this goddamn hotel room in the middle of actually not in the middle of Los Angeles, near frickin' LAX, the airport, where they're just, I don't know, talking with their heads out of their butts. That's not going to happen.
And that is up to us because there is a co-creation with the benevolent reality that we find ourselves in, which is creating with something that is out of our control. God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, the one that cannot be named,
The one that cannot be named? What is that, Cthulhu or some shit like that?
that created this whole experience.
I thought we created this whole experience. I thought we were all part of Source and also not part of Source at the same time. So this is where it gets weird. I've said before that there are a lot of connections between New Age beliefs and Christianity, and this is where it slowly starts to integrate because there are a lot of New Agers out there that believe in the God of the Abrahamic faith. And it just gets really weird. Some of them think he's the only God, some of them think he's just one of several gods, and a lot of them have a completely different take than, say, the evangelicals and the other fundamentalists.
The one thing that we do have the control over is how we respond to life's inherent uncertainty.
I mean, yes, but not always, depending on what happens. There's a lot of things such as involuntary reactions and things like that as well.
How we respond to ciphers, whether we raise our frequency or we actually lower our frequency. We're playing in a...
Which, again, cannot happen. We are assuming that they're right, that frequency is a thing. You cannot change your frequency on your own. You cannot change the level that you're vibrating at. Because if you could, it would result in some serious destruction. You want to see what happens when you raise something's vibrational frequency? Put some water in a microwave. Watch what happens.
A frequency dimension or a frequency reality, and there are about 8 billion people on this planet all living their own experience based off the emanation and the frequency that they're emanating, like a radio tower. So you're going to start aligning with those of resonance to the frequency you're emanating. So there are
Yes, because apparently we all gravitate. I mean, she's not wrong. We all do tend to gravitate to people who have similar beliefs and ideas about the world. But what she's saying is that it's all some sort of metaphysical quantum alignment or something like that, instead of just saying, hey, you like X and I like X. We should be friends. Occam's razor does not seem to be a thing with these people.
8 billion different worlds happening simultaneously. So it's about raising our frequency collectively or individually so that we collectively start raising and then we start operating in a new world.
I mean, world peace and love and are all great and amazing things, but the chances of that happening, especially right now, are pretty frickin' slim. Even if we were to adopt your supposed beliefs, all it's going to take is one other person to have a different interpretation of those beliefs, and we're right fucking back at square one. Just like what happened with the Great Schism with Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy churches. And then later on, the separate schism between the Catholic Church and the Church of England, and then baptism and Protestantism and evangelicalism and all those other crazy churches. You're never going to get that because there's a social construction of difference between one human and another person that's going to find a way to make them completely different to each other.
But when there's somebody that thinks they have the answers, or when there's somebody that thinks that they've got something figured out that someone else doesn't, we're still feeding division.
No shit, you literally just contradicted yourself. Great job, Blue.
So we get to do this together. That's the only way. And so I just want to be real.
And here you are thinking that you have all the fucking answers. Do you not see your own cognitive dissonance here?
Really mindful of any language that creates division, while also acknowledging that, Sadhguru said a quote. He said,
that Sadhguru should be, I'm going to correct it right here. Sadhguru. That's who she's referencing here. Sadhguru is another, he's kind of like an Indian seer. I've featured him once. He kind of tends to be a little bit more general and mainstream in his content, which is why he doesn't feature here all that much. But he has said some interesting things about the law of attraction before.
I'm not here to teach you to be superhuman. I'm here to remind you that being human is super. And I think that is the piece that we're working with here.
Right, but I think also we are the extraterrestrials.
And that's Alvin Silbenstein talking again.
This awareness didn't come up out of the monkeys and all that. It descended into these forms. Do you agree with that?
I sure as fuck don't.
100% agree that there are so many realities happening. There are aliens, there are angels, there are elves.
Please, not the elves. I don't want another goddamn elf lady again. She's gone elf lady has gone dormant, but you never know. She could always come back.
There are wizards, there are witches,
you're a wizard, Harry.
sorcerers, alchemists, there are everything. And they are all like...
There's delusions.
I had a conversation with Matthias de Stefano, who is phenomenal and very real. And he talked about past lives and how they're actually all happening simultaneously. Past is some sort of man-made conception around time.
That's true, but it's also something that can be observed. Past is just a name that we've given to it. It's not just some weird thing that we pull out of our minds. The past is still the past.
But past lives are actually all happening currently. So all of our past lives...
Whoa. What the hell did you just say right there? Something about... Let me go back a little bit. What the hell did you just say?
So we get to do this together. That's the only way. To this information.
Hang on, I went too far.
With Matthias de Stefano. So we get to do this together. That's the only way. And so we are the extras to this information, and those that are accessing more of it are just the extraterrestrials. This consciousness, this awareness didn't come to this information,
God damn it.
And so what we're noticing is we're accessing collectively and going through an ascension process, so we're all starting.
Okay, so I can't find it. We're here. She's talking about how all of our past lives are literally happening all at once. Like, you got proof of this? Like, anywhere? This would be, if this was happening, if we were experiencing all of our past lives all at once, that would create a a massive universal mess. At the very least, this is something that needs to be observed and demonstrated before you can claim something like that. Because otherwise, all the Blue is doing is just basically the same kind of shit that you would get out of like Shane Vaughn or Greg Locke or Kenneth Copeland when they claim that they talk to God and God tells them all of these crazy things. It's no different than that, except it doesn't involve the God of the Abrahamic faith.
As we be able to access deeper levels of our DNA and being able to access our past lives in this present moment through tuning into the vibration station and downloading like a zip file.
The vibration station. The vibration station. That's some interesting name. I need to do something with that. That just sounds absurd enough that I need to do something with it. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm gonna make a note to come up with something stupid to do with it, because that just sounds too good not to.
The information available. So there are people that have more access to more of the information. However, it means that everybody has access to this information, and those that are accessing more of it are just reference points around what's possible as us individuals for the whole.
Well, how can they be reference points if they're in the past? That makes no sense. If they're in the past, then there's no point in there's no point in channeling them, because hindsight might be 2020. It's not like we could just go back and change the past.
That is Starfire there. Yes. So I don't think I can even say anything. That's the question. There's passion in all this.
Skip this shit.
Is to have this kind of passion for human existence and know that we're not limited to this world. So Elizabeth, how do we break out of the matrix? Help.
Oh no, there it is again, the Matrix. For those of you who weren't here last week, we were dealing with a guy who I saw who was doing a lecture, and we were supposed to be learning about 01001110, which is this new age hashtag concept that's supposedly to get you out of the Matrix. And this man went on a fucking tangential tirade about almost everything except 010. And one of the things that he kept going back to was how to escape the Matrix. How to escape the Matrix. The Matrix is a thing with the New Age community. Likely this has been a recent development because the Matrix was, the first Matrix movie was in 1999? So they took it and they ran with it. And to escape the Matrix is to allegedly get into paradise. I guess the Matrix is because the whole thing was essentially ripped off from the Hinduist concept of samsara. And the whole thing about samsara is it's what you're trapped in, and your goal is to attain enlightenment and leave the samsara cycle and enter nirvana. So they basically just ripped off Hinduism right there.
What a loaded question. Thank you so much.
Everything in this is a loaded question.
Yeah, just like Blue was saying, there's so many quantum fractals, and I think as we raise our
Quantum fractals means literally nothing, by the way. It just sounds like quantum flapdoodle.
Vibration, and we de-densify, we purge out, just as you guys were saying, with holding it in our organs and our body and releasing all of that old energy, we get into this quantum state. And
I'm sure a sex joke or 100 could be mused here.
I think that if we talk about accessing our starseed origins, it's about going to this quantum. And for me, quantum means the smallest, but also,
which is what it is. Quantum refers to the micro aspects of the physical universe, things that occasionally do have cause interactions in the macro universe, which we live in, but for the most part, the quantum part of our universe and the macro part of our universe are pretty much completely separate spheres of existence.
also quantum means simultaneous. It's everything simultaneously, which can be.
That's completely wrong. That is not a good definition of quantum. Quantum means minuscule. She had it right the first time. The second one is just bullshit so that she can lead on into further bullshit.
Really freaking anxiety inducing because it's all of it at once. And as we are moving from the old density, that matrix reality, we were told what to do. We were told what school to go to. We were told, what our career would look like. We were told to have 2 kids and a partner. We were told what that ideal.
I mean, that's not entirely a lie. That was the whole thing that boomers told us to do, right? Because they totally did it, right? They had a wife, they were a husband, wife, they had 2.5 kids, and they had the home. Whereas they assumed that we could do just as good as them. Spoiler alert, no, we can't, because you guys fucked up.
Reality look like. And now that we're moving away from that matrix, because we're questioning, because we're getting out of the programming, because we're purging and releasing these old paradigms, we step into this world of infinite possibility.
This is all a New Age trope that has been going on for years and years and years. It is the New Age equivalent of Christians when they say that Jesus is going to come down from heaven in the second coming, and he's going to raise all the dead. He's going to throw out everybody that didn't kiss his ass into the lake of fire, and then they're all going to live forever and ever in heaven. This is literally that. This is the New Age version of that.
And we're not just talking about this world when it comes down to the possibilities, right? So we're accessing these quantum states. And I actually wanted to...
No, you're not. You are not accessing a quantum anything. All you're trying to do is, at best, is you're just meditating and praying. That's all you're doing. You're not accessing the quantum world. That's impossible to do without scientific equipment. And I don't care how many times you claim you have Starseed technology, your thoughts and your prayers and your vibes are not going to get you to seeing the frickin' quantum world.
Further what Blue was saying as well, which is the downloading and the uploading. I think this is really, really
Oh, thank God. Someone that actually separated downloading and uploading.
fascinating. And I think this is a little nugget of information that...
I should read nugget of information. It's another typo.
We can all take with us just to understand that this is possible, that we all have access to that. So what I started to...
We all have access to it, but conveniently, it's locked away from you. But I'm sure she could totally unlock it for you for a small fee for her series of services that will probably go on forever because she knows it's probably bullshit.
Kind of unravel, and it is quite complex, but it's a really exciting theory and concept within quantum mechanics.
Yes, it is, which is probably why maybe instead of pretending that you know what to say, that you know what you're doing and trying to talk about quantum mechanics when you have no goddamn idea what you're talking about, maybe you should, I don't know, go to college, go to a university, actually study physics, go on and study quantum physics, go actually contribute to the study of quantum physics rather than just sitting there on your frickin' table at Conscious Life Expo and pretending to act to think that you know something when really you're just talking out of your Arcturian ass.
And just this quantum kind of universal state is that not only are all past lifetimes, future lifetimes.
Okay, so not only are we now just experiencing all past lifetimes at once, now they're also somehow future lifetimes. Like, this is incredibly absurd. Following her reasoning, there is no past, there is no present, there is no future, which is something that is observably false. Everything that is transpiring, if you'll believe me, just look at how this recording is going on YouTube. You can jump back around in time and see what I said last time. That moment is never going to happen again. The moment where I said something will never happen again. And that's not something that happens in the past, or in the future at the same time. It's in the past. It'll never happen again.
Lifetimes on and off this planet are all simultaneous, but they're not even yours, right? So there's no actual identification of, especially when I started doing past life regression, I'm like, why have I talked to 5 Jesuses?
Because you and the 5 Jesuses you spoke to were probably complete nut jobs?
Why do 10 of my clients all come through as Madonna, And what I realized...
Because that person was also probably crazy or trying to bullshit you. It could go either way.
Is that these are experiences that we can access because they have really big missions in one extreme or another.
That's what she said.
Likewise, we can access different states of being from different dimensions and different planets to access at different pieces of it.
Yes, I too can go to a dispensary and get weed.
Information. So I'm at this point where I'm like, I don't know if I've had 10,000 lifetimes or I've just imprinted
No, you've just had one.
all of these lifetimes. So the nugget of knowledge here is that we're not just accessing our own quantum fractals between all space and time, but we're accessing everyone's quantum fractals.
Okay, so let me give you an update on this so far. Not only are we experiencing everyone's past lives all at once, not only are we experiencing our past and future lives all at once, but apparently now we're experiencing everyone's past lives and futures all at once. So we are literally experiencing every other person's past and future right now. If you're watching this at home, you are experiencing me giving this talk, and I am doing the same. And you're doing it in the past, and you're doing it in the future. I'll say it again. Where is Occam's razor when you need it? This whole thing is just mind-boggling, confusing, and incredibly ambiguous.
And a really great, let's call it a action step that I did when I started to learn this, which was about 2 years ago, is my very cute dog ate a lot of chocolate.
Uh-oh.
Okay, one night. Obviously, we didn't give it to her. It was just like Hershey Kiss wrappers everywhere. Pooped tinsel for days. But anyway, I was so worried.
That's usually a call to go to the vet, like, right the fuck away. Chocolate is incredibly dangerous to dogs and several other animals. Why it's not poisonous to humans, I don't know. Ask student Dr. Ben, he would probably have a better answer than I would. But chocolate is poisonous to dogs and cats because it doesn't get processed well in their system, and it causes them to have, as she's going to describe, really bad diarrhea.
Right? I mean, it's like 2 a.m. I'm like, do we take her to the Emerge? What's going to happen? And I started...
The Emerge, of course, being the emergency room.
I was downloading this technique of uploading and downloading information.
Oh, God, no. So what she's essentially saying is that she received this spiritual download that was going to tell whether or not she should take her fucking dog to the ER. Lady, you don't need a download to tell you that. You should fucking take your dog to the goddamn ER.
And experiences, quantum healing, this quantum technology. So I said...
You mean just sitting there and praying? That's not technology.
If I can upload the... This is going to sound really weird. If I can upload the chocolate that she ate to humans...
I'm sorry, what? Upload the chocolate that they ate to the humans? What the hell are you getting off on?
To me and my wife, then it's not going to affect her body the same way.
So what she's essentially saying is that she supposedly teleported the chocolate from her dog to her? There is no way that physically would work. That's absurd. And it would be ridiculous. Is that like Willy Wonka's vision? I imagine so, except somehow really more effed up and more Lovecraftian in nature, because apparently it literally involves teleporting chocolate from a dog's stomach to a human stomach? Like, this makes no sense whatsoever.
So I started to actually pull her eating this chocolate and bring it into us so that we could process that. She did not throw up, she had no bathroom issues, and she was just fine.
So what you're saying is your dog got lucky. And in a way, I guess you got lucky. I feel sorry for the dog. I don't feel sorry for you. That is just, no, that's not how it worked. That is not how it fucking works. And if you think that's how it fucking works, let me tell you right the fuck now, that could have gone a completely different fucking way than what you think it did. You're lucky that your dog was alive for that. Because I can tell you right now, there probably would have been cases where if a dog ate that much chocolate, it would have probably fucking killed them. No amount of downloading is gonna fucking fix that or remedy that. You need to take your dog to the fucking vet. You got fucking lucky.
He's the happiest little dog. Now, likewise, if I'm having a really restless time getting to sleep, and my wife and my dog are passed out snoring, and I'm jealous, and I'm like, oh God, I really wish I was in that state of sleep, what I do is I pull their sleep state from them.
I'm sorry, what? Let's assume that this is something that can actually happen. It's not. But let's assume that it is. Let's say that you could totally do this. What she's essentially saying is that she's stealing her wife and her daughter's ability to sleep from them for her own fucking selfish gain. What the hell is wrong with you? Why would you steal someone else's sleep ability just to get your own gain in? That's incredibly selfish. Why would you think something like that?
And as I'm pulling their sleep, I know, right? It's weird. I pull their sleep state from them, and all of a sudden my wife starts to toss and turn, and she's getting my awake energy.
Well, no shit, you're stealing her fucking energy lately. What's wrong with you?
My dog starts to wake up a little bit, but we can all share this. And
Apparently we can't. Because if they could share it, they wouldn't be fucking waking up.
right away, I'm zonked out. Better than any sort of, melody.
And now they get to deal with your insomnia, assuming that this is all true, which I don't think it is, but whatever, let's run with it. You are incredibly fucking selfish, Elizabeth. How dare you? Your wife should divorce you if that was the case. Selfish.
Tone that you can take. So what's really freaking cool about this is we can actually share these quantum energies.
Clearly you can't, and your own evidence demonstrates it. They were waking up. You were stealing from them. What's wrong with you?
If I'm really struggling with financial abundance, there is one person among the 8 billion people on this planet who are thriving in a very authentic way, financially abundant.
Yes, we call those people billionaires. You want to know how they got so successful? By exploiting people. Much like it seems like you want to fucking do.
They've learned that lesson. How about I go ahead and download the lesson that they've learned rather than living through the experience in the 3D? This is the quantum state. This is the state.
No, this is the bullshit state.
That all starseeds can get to. We need to break away from the limitations of what is possible and realize that we are moving away from needing to take action in the physical and set intentions in the quantum.
That means literally nothing. I'm sure they're going to applaud that again. I've kind of forgotten if they did or not, but it just means nothing. It's not like we could... This is actually something else I used to believe. I used to believe that we could connect with other people spiritually, like we could link with them, and we could share in their feelings. Once again, it's just your cognitive narrative just talking to you again. That's all it is. This is what she's trying to say. It's some form of like bullshit telepathy, which of course doesn't exist, because if telepathy did exist, you'd think the military would be all over it. And they tried to test for it and they couldn't find Jack.
That is Starseed technology right there, right?
No, Alan, not right.
I think I need to hear that last piece. What was that last piece?
Go ahead, say it again. Go ahead, just say it again so we can all get it. If you can repeat it.
It's important to understand that you're not limited to what you think you can do. You can access everything that everyone else has accessed.
That's not true, and you know it.
Instantaneously.
Yeah, so there we go. All I have to do, if I want to learn Spanish, if I want to learn Arabic, who needs Duolingo? I can get instant Duolingo, apparently. I can connect to the Duolingo of the universe and have that spiritually download on me. No more having to worry about daily lessons and no worrying about what Duolingo is going to do to me or my family if I don't do my daily lessons. It's all just there for me to just spiritually download into my head. Quite literally, just like in The Matrix. It's just another reference to The Matrix.
You no longer have to walk through something. You no longer have to take a course to learn information.
That's all pure bullshit.
You just have to ask for it and believe that you can access it.
And there's the cop-out. Right there. You just have to ask for it and believe that you can access it. Because if you're unsuccessful in your goals, if you're unsuccessful in learning what it is that you want to learn, it's just because you didn't ask for it correctly. Or you actually didn't there was a part of you that maybe, as Teal would say, there's a fragmented part of your soul that didn't believe that you could do it. There's always a freaking excuse when it comes to this nonsense. It's the same kind of crap as God didn't heal you because you didn't believe in him all the way. It's such an easy freaking excuse, and it's pathetic.
It's all in the field. It's all in the quantum field, as Joe Dispenza said. So anything you want, you can just mirror the energy of the field, and then you access it.
No, Alan, you can't. But I wouldn't expect you to understand or believe that.
I think that's what he's saying. So, Cher, can I call him Cher?
I have no idea whose watch is beeping, by the way. It wasn't me, in case you're wondering.
How did you awaken to this technology? How did you personally awaken?
So, Alan is asking how they awakened to this technology, which, how do you awaken to any kind of technology that isn't like an alarm clock or something like that? How do you awaken to technology that is literally just thoughts and prayers? That's all this is. Spiritual downloading, the vibrations, this quantum matrix stuff, it's all the new age version of thoughts and prayers. That's all there is.
It's funny, awaken to the technology. We were all just having a little conversation before y'all got in here about just forever being a student, and I find so much more joy in that.
I mean, it's cool to be a student, but at some point you're going to actually have to practice whatever the hell it is that you've learned.
I'm constantly learning. I've been a quantum nerd for a long time.
Apparently a very shitty quantum nerd.
I was my mom used to take me to psychics for seeing things when I was a kid. I feel like I was one of the first of the rainbow waves, and that's why I'm so.
By rainbow waves, she means rainbow children, which arguably is the new age attempt to explain neurodiverse people who have things such as autism and ADHD and things like that. That's what she's trying to describe. It's also bullshit. And in a way, it's also kind of romanticizing disability as well, which in my opinion is absolutely wrong.
So passionate about building things out for the little starseeds that are here because they need it, and they're coming in hot. They're here, and they also need it all built. So I was a very sensitive kid with just a lot of psychic abilities.
A sensitive kid with a lot of psychic abilities. You know, I've heard a theory about being an empath. An empath is somebody that claims to know someone's feelings and beliefs and approaches before they interact with them. And the theory goes that they're not really empaths. What happens is these are people who were raised in abusive environments and they had to be really quick to guess the current feelings of the person who was abusing them because any wrong move could just result in emotional abuse being fired at them. There is no empathy. It's just a survival tactic that went really, really wrong because of the way people were raised. You can ask. Actually don't ask, because Teal Swan also claims to be an empath, and she's just an emotional manipulator. But odds are, if someone seems genuine when they say that they're an empath, odds are they were emotionally or physically abused at some point in their life.
I actually lost a lot of it and forgot a lot of it for a really long time. And then I had to remember again. So my prayers, we don't have to forget and remember again like everybody else did. But I was in college, I was pre-med at UCF, and
Pre-med at UCF? That's really sad. You were pre-med at UCF. I don't know what UCF is. I could go look for it, but I don't really want to bother. And I'm guessing you probably dropped out of it to do this. That's sad. You had such a potential future as being a doctor, and now you're just a doctor of quackery.
I started doing Bikram yoga, and I became a Bikram yoga.
Fun story about Bikram yoga. The guy who founded it is a sexual predator. But we'll elaborate on that as time goes on.
Yoga competitioner.
How do you compete at yoga? Yoga does not sound like something that you would compete in. Yoga is something that you would do on your own and you would advance in on your own. It is literally the antithesis of yoga. It's not like karate or kung fu or taekwondo or any of the martial arts. It's something that you do to benefit yourself. But I don't know. That's a weird take.
The word competition sounds so silly, we're competing with ourselves. But yeah, I became very passionate about studying the metaphysics of the body and prana and asana. And then from there, my starseed consciousness just dropped in. And at the same time, I was.
So what probably happens is she was studying all of these New Age concepts, and all of a sudden she got the idea to have her own starseed child. That's what's happening here. It just kind of cognitively dropped in as she went along.
Before, it was cool on TikTok, meditating with a Moldavite tied to my head.
Okay, so whoa. So meditation was never cool? Because I can sure as hell tell you that there were a lot of communities that believed in meditation. I personally believed in meditation way before TikTok was even a twinkle in 10 cents eye. I was big on meditation. I used to believe in that kind of stuff, and it was popular everywhere. So where are you getting off saying that meditation was never popular?
Fasting on pineapple for days and just a.
Why would you fast on pineapple? That just sounds like a one-way ticket to diarrhea land, much like the chocolate.
I was on 19 and on a very bizarre path, and also very up here. It was not grounded.
Yes, a bizarre path that brought you here, apparently.
Yet it took me a long time to really ground down and ground into Mama Gaia, because we're just as much Earth as we are Star. And not with that, especially for a lot of star seeds that are just now incarnating, there's just so much depression. And
well, yeah. Have you seen the status of the world that we live in, especially if you're a millennial or Gen Z, and eventually Gen A or whatever they're going to give the next generation when they start becoming adults? This is not an ideal world. It's actually a very shitty world that we got given because we just got the scraps of the baby boomers. It's all, but that's a logical explanation. It's not because the world is manifesting some weird ass crap or something like that. It's just capitalism gone horribly wrong.
And missing home and so much of the energy. And I think we've all gone through that at times. So it's just important for us to be creating safe containers again for the multi-dimensional perspective to be expressed. This is a stage where everybody gets to shine and share their full multi-dimensional expression. And so again, coming back to the competition energy, there's a lot going on. People are talking about competition and consciousness, and it's very interesting. You know, we have this thing that happens where we have a contraction when we see somebody else shine. But if we could just rewrite that, if you see somebody shining and you have a response.
What does that even mean?
To something. It's just that something, is a texture of it is meant for you to express your multidimensional expression.
So it's meant for me to express my multi-dimensional expression. You really need to stop using the same word in the same sentence. So what she's essentially saying is that this is how we express ourselves multi-dimensionally. This again would be something that could be observable if it actually happened, and I'm guessing it's not physically observable.
And we all just get to amplify. And coming back to once we download the code in our aura is the greatest gift we can give. Then we have that code that we can share.
So now it's like a gift card. It's like a code it's like a promo card that we can say. Is that what you're saying now? Because that's not how it works.
We can shine it and we can share it. And that's where that just beyond us, not about us. That's the juiciness. And so I Bikram yoga is how I started. And I remember just playing with mushrooms.
Playing with mushrooms. I think she pretty much gave us a clue as to how she came up with all of this nonsense, especially if they're the magic mushrooms. I'm guessing that's where she got her ideas from, not from some spiritual download.
So I'd do Bikram, and then I'd microdose on some mushrooms.
There we go. That's it. That's where your ideas really came from. Not some spiritual download or something like that. You just got high on magic mushrooms.
And then I would tie a moldavite to my head. And I had some of my first experiences as a starseed mirror gazing, which I think if anybody wants to tap into your multidimensional perspective, I love what we said earlier about on all the things.
Mirror gazing is when you stare into a mirror and meditate on it. If you want a really freaky experience, do it go into your bathroom or wherever there's a mirror and dim the lights. Like preferably do it by candlelight and just stare into the mirror. Stare as long as you can into your eyes. you're going to notice that your face starts like looking weirder and weirder and weirder. It starts looking more like demonic and things like that. But if you blink or if you turn away for a second, you'll go back to normal. What's happening is your brain is getting bored at constantly staring at itself. So it starts to fuck around with what you're seeing in order to make things more entertaining. This arguably could have been where the concept of Bloody Mary came from. Because I imagine you stare into the mirror, you're going to see all sorts of weird ass shit happening. But again, if you just blink or you turn away, it'll go back to normal. Anyway, that's just a random thing I wanted to bring up. It's really interesting to me.
Because you don't have to just be one thing. People are like, what am I? Where do I come? You can be all the things. If we are multidimensional self, past, present, future, if we're visualizing that as a council within our soul's architecture, and those different perspective points and all the different dimensions and timelines are learning from each other. And
so now we're all learning from each other. Well, if that's the case, then every human, everywhere, in every universe, in every past, present, and future, should know everything already. No need to try to access it. No need for a spiritual download. We should all literally have access to that exact same knowledge right here, right now. I can tell you one thing. That's the fact that I don't have, say, student Dr. Ben's medical knowledge, or I don't have Progress Only's accounting abilities because I suck at math. I don't have any of those. Kind of shows that everything that's coming out of these Starseed's mouth is just absolute total bullshit.
Evolving as a soul in the quantum. So mirror gazing with yourself, prana breathing. There's some breathing and eye gazing techniques, but I first blew my own mind when I just...
She said blew her own mind. I had to, I'm sorry.
Started seeing myself change into, oh, I'm a reptilian, but I'm a nice one.
So she's a reptilian. The reptilians are the bad guys, mostly in the New Age mythos. They're the demons in the community. So when she says that she's a nice one, well, wouldn't a devious reptilian also say that they were the nice one? I'm just saying.
Robes on. Okay, what's that? There's kindness there, and then the Lyran, and all these different things, and yeah, and that's from there. And then just grounding it back down to earth.
Yeah.
You see your face change if you do those mirror exercises. You will see your face become an alien.
Yes, because of what I just said. It's got nothing to do with your face turning into an alien. Your brain is just simply transforming it because it's bored. That's all that's happening here. Nothing else. Stop trying to create weird explanations for things that can be easily explained by the way that our brains work.
Or in animals or whatever, but I want to just ask you, what would you do for children so they talk about that?
That's my favorite thing ever.
Oh, God.
I think, okay, if I have just a minute of everybody.
So for those of you who can't hear, what Alan just asked is how to approach this with children. This might not end well.
It's time we could just tap into a prayer and we can do it in that way. So if we could just sit with a straight spine and an open heart.
I've got video of this, by the way, but I have to go look for it.
Let's just bring our consciousness into all these star beings, and we have one right next to us coming in hot. Was it one or two? Because you said two earlier. It's not twins, is it? No. This is one. Okay. So
for context, Elizabeth is pregnant.
we have one right here, and they're all coming in, and they're here, and I want. And these aren't just babies. These are multidimensional. These are the real gurus coming in, and just they're gonna have all the answers, and they're coming in with a different. In 2024 and 2027, there's this whole different stargates are opening for higher consciousness beings to be dropped down. They're gonna know what to do with the technology, all this 5D.
No, they're not.
Bullshit.
Because they said the exact same fucking thing about Gen X and millennials, and we don't have a fucking clue what's going on either.
Their auras are gonna be here. We're all gonna be good. And these are the little beings that have all the answers. So let's just breathe into that.
You're not going to have the answers because, again, you've said that about every generation prior, and none of them had the answers. In fact, they did the same old shenanigans that every other generation did before them.
Take a deep breath. And you can just visualize them right now as little lights coming in around.
I don't know why Alan did that.
They're choosing their parents, and they're waiting for their parents to heal, coming back to the epigenetics. So just taking a few deep breaths into all the mamas and all the fathers doing the good, high, and holy work to clear their DNA.
Because apparently you can clear your DNA with prayer. I'm sure Greg Locke would agree with you, y'all.
So these little star children can come in clear and do what they are meant to do.
Yeah, so here we go. They are now literally praying. This is Starseed technology. Nothing actually tangible, nothing physical, nothing that you can actually observe like an iPhone. All Starseed technology is literally thoughts and prayers. And that's all it is. All right. It is now 8 o'clock. I am going to make a note as to where we stopped. That is going to be it for us tonight. We are about halfway done with this nonsense. We've got about another hour to go with this. So I imagine we probably got a few more weeks of this to go on. Thank you all so much for coming. I absolutely appreciate everything that you did. Your whatever the heck it is that you do, your attendance, whatever it is that they like to say. I will see you next week on YouTube, 6:30 Pacific time, for yet another adventure and a further delve into the Starseed panel of insanity. Maybe we can have we can use our Starseed technology to discover what the hell else we'll find. Have a good one, everybody.